So much to talk about and so little time. With Zach Tawatari, Luis Ortiz, and former Texan Seth Payne from SportsRadio 610. Seth, we are starting off with our satisfaction survey. How satisfied are you? And Luis will be helping you out tonight.
I'm fighting it because they played a good team down to the wire, but I cannot look past these pass protection issues. These issues, picking up the blitz, blocking in the run game. These are the things that are holding the Texans back right now. They all start and originate with the offensive line, and this is not the team they're capable of being. So I have to say very, very unsatisfied, and it hurts me because I think a lot of guys played their butts off today.
Well, I'm going to go neutral because, I do like what the defense was able to do. Even though they weren't able to pull off the win, when you get 3 takeaways, that is a very good indication that you might win a game. Actually, the last time the Texans had a +3 or better differential in the turnover margin, and they lost the game, that was 10 years ago in 2014.
Wow.
Also, I want to say, there was a point in which it looked like the Texans were going to win this game, even though C.J. Stroud was not having his best performance. And if the Texans are able to win, even when their best player is not playing at his best, then I think that's a very good sign.
Zach?
There's a reason I have not been very high the last couple weeks. I'm going to stick with unsatisfied because I was only satisfied the last 2 weeks with the result. However, I have been unsatisfied with some of the play, and today I feel like those issues all came out. We've seen these in little spurts over the last couple weeks, but today they all came to fruition.
Ooh, neutral and unsatisfied and very unsatisfied. The fact that the Texans won the turnover battle, that is one reason why they were still in this game. Time management, not good. CJ throwing for under 60 yards, not good. So I guess I have to go unsatisfied as well. So that's what we're saying. And now here's what the Texans are saying after this one. Yes, execution. And Seth, the play of the Texans' offensive line, was it Green Bay's scheme or Green Bay's talent, which just overwhelmed that group?
Oh boy, that's a great question. It's a little bit of a chicken and the egg because it's not like Green Bay's defense does that to every offensive line. There are times where there are physical mistakes and guys just are getting beat, but there are way, way, way too many times where guys are making mental errors and picking up the blitz. So these are things that are so insanely correctable, and it's driving me insane watching it week after week. I have people defending the offensive line, and I don't know why. I include the running backs and the tight ends and the pass protection. It all comes back to Bobby Slowick. They've got to fix these things if they want to beat genuinely good teams.
And Seth, you've mentioned this multiple times, saying that you have to be a bit of an artist to succeed in this zone running scheme. Was the line actually creating holes for Joe Mixon today, or was it Mixon creating for himself?
There were times where the offensive line was doing a good job creating for Joe Mixon, but then there were other times, like when they allowed the third most tackles for a loss in a game since 2000, the year 2000. Those times were the offensive line's fault. So this is where they are right now. You ever go to a math test where you kind of know what you're supposed to do and you kind of understand the concepts, but then you get into a testing situation, you're like, I don't even know what an integer is. They look like they don't know what integers are.
But guys, they have invested heavily into this offensive line, and this is the result. Earlier in the season, it was all about penalties, and now this game, it was just being overwhelmed. This is not encouraging as this season moves along.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that we've all said it, right? They got to fix the mistakes. It looks like in the penalties they've done that. But as far as protecting CJ, he's getting sacked 3 to 4 times in the last few games. That's not going to be, something they're going to be able to sustain. So they have to be able to just do a much better job protecting him.
And we talked about the difference between the scheme versus the talent on the Green Bay defensive side of the ball. Okay, so Rashawn Gary and Eric Wilson combined, they had 3 sacks today, right? Coming into this game, the entire season, they had 1 sack combined. Okay, so to me, that tells me they were put in positions to succeed, whether that was by their defensive coordinator or the fact that the Texans didn't execute.
All right, we have our whiteboards ready. We'll get to these in a moment, but Guys, how much confidence do we have in the Texans right now when it comes to learning from today's time management issues? Seth?
Not a lot right this moment, because now we've seen a couple times in the last few weeks Bobby Slowick pass in a late game or end of half situation where it feels like you should be trying to burn clock down. And in that situation today, they were trying to burn time. They were trying to make Green Bay use their timeout. So you run on first down, you run on second down. Because that strategy puts you in 3rd and 15, they end up passing on a play that ends up stopping the clock, doesn't really put them in much better field goal position. It was already an easy field goal to make. I don't get that. I don't understand it. I don't know why this is a consistent theme now with the Texans. They seem to have gone backwards in terms of game management. I think today D'Amico should have called a timeout or challenged on that lateral where the next play was a touchdown. I don't understand how they've gone backwards in game management.
Yeah, I would say that I think D'Amico, being a defensive-minded head coach, he always believes that his defense can pull it off, right? And I think that maybe played a part into this, where he was saying, okay, well, we'll put the ball in our defense's hands and then make sure that they can stop the Packers and win the game that way if we do go get the field goal. So confidence-wise, I'd probably say if we're going on a scale from 1 to 10, maybe a 5. You would imagine that professionals in the NFL will learn from their mistakes and that they correct them. So we got to give them some hope.
How much time do I have to talk about the time management issues? I mean, that's where I stand.
Well, let's see how much time we can waste, like they did today.
They wasted enough today for us. No, they actually were trying to waste time at the end of the game. They called that 3rd and 15 play to Tank Dell. I mean, like Seth said, this is just perplexing when you're watching this game. You could tell they need to, make the clock. They need to trickle the clock down, but instead they end up going out of bounds, or it was an incomplete pass in that situation, and stopping the clock. It's just like, I don't understand the play calling in a lot of these situations.
Yeah, play calling is always an issue in every NFL city, but it's certainly of note in this game. All right, Seth, when it comes to what this team needs, the trade deadline is in early November. We have our whiteboards here. You don't have one, but that's okay. Which position do you believe that they really need to address?
I have canvassed my radio audience, my social media audience, and it seems to be resoundingly that people want a defensive back. A lot of people are saying safety. Frankly, I don't think they need a safety. They need somebody who can cover man. You heard them talking about it on the broadcast today, and it's not just because Kamari Lassiter is injured. They need a cornerback who can come in and cover the slot at times. And, Jalen Petrie does a great job for what they're asking him to do, but his core, he's a safety. He's not a cornerback. They need guys that can cover man. If you go back to last week when the Packers played the Cardinals, Budda Baker, the safety, was back there in a lot of the touchdown reels. The safety does nothing for you there. They need guys who can cover man as cornerbacks.
Okay. Should we all reveal ours?
Sure.
Okay, we have offensive line. I have a kick returner and an offensive lineman. Some of these kick returns have been adventures of late.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, this has been a mess.
Oh, wait. Wait.
OC.
Oh, wow. Luis is saying a new offensive coordinator.
Wow.
What?
Mid-season,
Okay.
huh?
Look.
No, Luis, I think it's exactly right. That's why I didn't say offensive lineman, because it's hard to plug and play an offensive lineman in the middle of the season. Likewise, it's hard to plug and play an offensive coordinator. But you're right. It all comes back to Bobby Slowick, the pass protection issues, the comatose run game at times. Joe Mixon can only do so much. It all falls back on Bobby Slowick eventually.
And Joe Mixon has been doing everything. We have much more on the Texans and what's ahead coming up on Sports Extra. And now facing Indianapolis on Sunday, the last 2 meetings decided by 6 points. Is it a bad time to play the Colts given what happened in this game against Green Bay? Seth, the floor is yours.
As long as Joe Mixon is healthy, this is the perfect time to play the Colts.
Okay.
We know the Texans can run the ball against the Colts. And Anthony Richardson, if my math is correct, was once again well below the 50% completion mark today. I'm still perpetually terrified by his legs and what he can do with them, but he's only had one game this year where he's completed more than 50% of his passes. I don't know if he goes the whole season doing this. I don't know if a quarterback's done that this century. It's astounding.
Now, there was a thumbs up that appeared on your screen there. I don't know where that came from, but
I can't figure the Zoom stuff out, and I can't recreate it. Watch, I'll do this. Are the thumbs up coming up at all?
I love that. Seth, somebody was giving you a thumbs up. It might have been you. I don't know.
Yeah, that's how I'm propping myself up for my hot takes.
I agree. I think right now is the right time because this is the time for a team when you know what's wrong. This is the type of week where you can really hit on the things and they're still fresh. So I'm going to say right now this is a good time to play the Colts.
Yeah, I'm going to like Seth's take there because I also feel that it is the right time to play the Colts. And I say that not just from the perspective that they're going to be facing Anthony Richardson, who's struggling, and we know they can run the ball against them, but I also feel like from a kind of mental aspect, this is the right time. They are going to have a fire lit under them after this game, and I think it's the right time to go out and take care of business.
Yeah, I think we all agree. I think it's the perfect opponent at the perfect time for the comeback game, right? The Texans need to come back, bounce back after losing today. So we already said it, running the ball against the Colts, Joe Mixon can do it. So this is the perfect opponent for the Texans to be able to come in and get their mojo back.
All right, that's going to do it for our Texans discussion. Seth Payne and your renegade thumb, thank you for joining us tonight on Sports Extra.
My pleasure. Thumbs up, man. Thumbs up.